City of Glass features a number of topics which may disturb some listeners. This includes graphic violence, body horror, unreality, extreme mental illness, and suicide. We don't believe anything depicted will be gratuitous for a horror series, but this has been your warning. It will be the only one. Enjoy the show!
This shall be my final letter. My once palatial estate, its sturdy walls and trusted staff have changed, corrupted by the unhindered spread of this unfathomable city. I have told you of my failures, both here and in other worlds, of my weaknesses, my triumphs, and the sparse wisdom which I have gleaned from my fractured time in this body. Nobody comes into the City of Glass without the promise of a miracle. The temptation is guaranteed, made so enticing by the power behind those assurances. There are those who have accomplished their most impossible dreams in this place. Some have even emerged unscathed. But can we say for sure that they did emerge? Or does a being of glass splinters and bending mirrors lurk behind those vacant eyes? I have wasted years probing this refractive, cancerous place. These futile errands, this pointless hope, has paid only in tainted knowledge. These foul revelations have incurred unpayable debts, their interest taken in my twisted and malformed body, my broken mind and corrupted soul. The task I set out to accomplish was impossible. It is finally clear, this place will not be destroyed. You cannot break a mirror and claim you have erased what it showed you. I am left with one path. I head for the door. I forsake salvation and resolution. Oblivion is the only route that remains. Do not return. Do not look to the horizon and wonder if something yet remains here. Everything is gone. This City of Glass has consumed all that you know.
Okay, we keep going.
Let's keep going. Let's fucking go. Hello. Welcome back to All That You Know. This is the first episode of our second season of the show, titled City of Glass. For this season, we'll be playing Heart, the City Beneath by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor. As you may very well know, my name is Colin, and I will be the game master. Joining me today are Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm playing Bailey Cormac, the Junk Mage.
Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'll be playing Booker Page, the Incarnadine.
Ewan.
Hi, I'm Ewan. I'm going to be playing Halo, the Witch.
And Zach.
I'm Zach, and I'm going to be playing Ledger Gray, the Deathwalker.
Okay. We're just going to go kind of raw into this. If you've ever read Dune, it's just going to be like that. We're just not going to tell you anything, and you have to figure it out. Including the players, who admittedly I haven't told very much, but we're going to figure it out. The four of you, Booker, Bailey, Ledger, and Halo, are on a train heading east. You have been on this train for a little less than a day. How you came together is a matter of coincidence and convenience, with only loose relations connecting the four of you. What binds you together, truly, is that each of you, for your own reasons, seek the City of Glass, an impossible zone of miracles and doom in equal parts. Your expedition, like many seekers of the city, has been partially funded by a benefactor with their own goals, a figure by the name of Albright, a famous eccentric who lives in the town of Calamity on the western edge of the City of Glass, and where this train is now heading. Albright has promised not only to help you navigate the City of Glass, but also implied he could assist you each directly in your personal goals, which is odd because you've never spoken to this man. When you arrive in Calamity in 12 or so hours, you will meet with this benefactor and find your way forward. Of course, there are those of you that have more to think about than just your own personal goals. But for now, you find yourself in the lush first-class cabin of this train. The four of you, each strain in your own right, might stand out in this luxurious accommodation. Outside of the windows, a cold morning fog sits over the landscape, obscuring the normally beautiful view of the boreal landscape that you'd find this far north. At this moment, only one of you is actually in your seat. Which one of you is it?
I'll be sitting.
What do you look like, Bailey? What are you doing?
Bailey has a huge, massive coat on. Underneath is college robes, which kind of look like pajamas. The sleeves are adorned with like a bunch of little emblems and stuff to show like where he's from. But he also has a giant hat on atop his head. But it's kind of like, if anyone here has played Dark Souls, it's like Big Hat Logan's hat.
Fuck, I love that guy.
He's got going on. Yeah. But otherwise, he has tape on his nose, on the bridge of his nose. He's got like an eye patch device, but it doesn't do anything. It's just all there for show. And he has like messy blonde hair peeking out from underneath his hat and a shitty stubble. And I think he is kind of poring over his own notes and occasionally glancing out the window, not looking at anyone else in the car, directing his attention away from everyone inside.
Awesome. An attendant comes up to you, dressed in the purple and silver uniform worn by all members of the military of Cathar. Unlike the handful of soldiers on this train, she is unarmed and serves purely to assist you, the passenger. She gives a very warm smile to you and looks at you with an envelope clutched in her hand, and she says, hello there. I'm looking for Mr. Ledger Gray. Our scion received a transmission for him, and I have the transcript here.
Ah, that's me. Thank you. I pull out my hand.
She hands you the letter.
You motherfucker.
Also, I rip it open. I'm going to open this up.
The letter inside, even though it's not addressed to you, details how excited Ledger's granddaughter is that he's going to visit her in Calamity. It lists a number of boring familial details and family goings-ons.
Is Ledger nearby? Can I have overheard this exchange?
That's up to you. Where are you, Ledger?
I think Ledger is he got out of his seat and he was looking out a window maybe, and assuming nobody has intervened to stop him smoking a poorly rolled cigarette.
I don't think so.
Cool. And it's just being I'm sure much to the chagrin of whoever is seated nearby, because it doesn't smell it smells like it's almost like a heady incense smell coming from whatever it is that he's smoking.
It's that sticky icky.
Yeah. It's fucking weed.
What do you look like, Ledger?
Sure. Ledger is tall and kind of slender. He's kind of dressed like a classic old-timey hobo sort of look. He's got a short top hat that's like kind of dark gray felt material, and a duster coat that goes maybe halfway down the back of his legs to match, but it's very, very shabby. Like, it's patched. There's like little holes in it. He's got holes in the knees of his pants and like worn old boots. And little stubble on his face. His hair's kind of curly and a little wild. He's got all kinds of belts and pouches all over the front, including like 5 or 6 necklaces that all seem to have different like religious pendants on them, and a big revolver that looks like it's kind of, I don't want to say homemade, but it definitely looks like it was not made by a master gunsmith, but it doesn't look like a piece of thrown together junk either, but it looks kind of irregular, and that's kind of just dangling in a shoulder, like just kind of like one of the belts or pouches has a front holster in it. But I think as soon as he hears his name, he turns and walks over, and he tries to snatch the paper out of Bailey's hand.
Halo follows Ledger as he does this.
I think he lets you have it. and kind of throws up his arms.
Don't you know it's impolite to read other people's mail? He peers, he narrows his eyes, but then he looks at it.
Just trying to keep everything careful here.
Halo looks at it too, over Ledger's shoulder.
It contains boring familial details and family goings-ons of this granddaughter that Ledger apparently has in Calamity. Ledger, however, looking over the letter, you instantly recognize that this is a coded transmission from the Institute, your masters. After a moment of decoding it, you identify its true contents, which is a simple instruction that you must steal one of 3 control rods from the conductor of the train while the train is still moving, as it will be locked otherwise. And you can drop that off at a courier in Calamity once the mission is complete.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Your previous orders of retrieving the Maw apparatus in the City of Glass still stand, and you should be going along with your group as long as it continues to be convenient for enabling that mission.
Okay.
Halo has skulked up beside you and is now looking at your letter, the third person to do so in a matter of minutes. Halo, what do you look like?
Halo is average height. He's a lanky figure. His body is completely dark, like he's wearing a black morph suit, except for his face. It's smooth, shaped like a motorcycle helmet, and it's very shiny. It's got a mirror sheen to it. In sunlight, his skin has a faint, like, iridescence, almost, like an oil slick on a parking lot. But this color also seems to shift and disappear randomly. Doesn't have much sense to it. Doesn't appear often, but only sometimes. He carries a basic supply pack on his back, but the thing that stands out the most about it is that he has an ornate broken lantern hanging off one hip.
And he's basically naked, right?
Yep.
This is all black all the way down. You get some strange looks from people in the first class cabin. Almost everyone, which is human. There aren't any other demons, which is what you are on this train. They're typically not really well liked by most people, especially by people who travel in first class. No one's doing anything about it, but you definitely get some looks, whether you're aware of them or not.
Halo is not aware of this at all.
Cutting away for a moment, we'll go to Booker. Booker, where are you? What do you look like? What are you doing?
Booker is standing not too far away from this commotion. He's not as interested in reading someone else's letters, but he is watching. At a glance, since he's standing and likely looking out the window of the train car, he's a wiry figure with a very gaunt face and very pale skin. He has very dark, slick back hair tied in a bun at the back. His eyes look really weary, and he has a slightly crooked nose and thin lips. He wears a really dark jacket with a lot of metallic buckles going down the sides. And on the side of his sleeve, there's a distinct patch with the insignia of his master, which I think we'll get more into in a bit. His forearm's also wrapped in bandages, and if you look more towards his torso of his jacket, it does look like he's concealing something, and he's doing a poor job of it.
Concealed carry.
He has a license.
Booker, you feel something fuzzy and warm slip surreptitiously into your pant leg. The ever-familiar feeling of one of your master, Parkellian's rats, who has come bearing a message. It waits there for you to duck into the lavatory, and when you do, it crawls up to your ear, opens its small mouth, and speaks a message in an uncanny voice, which says, "Your debt has been rented to the Institute for usage. Please work with Ledger Gray on the Institute's goals. Do not allow yourself to be disabled in service of them. Your primary goal is of finding the string that consumes. Regards, Visco Small, Asset Communications." And with that, the rat jumps into the lavatory toilet and is gone.
Is Visco Small also a
Winches
rat?
a bit at. I mean, so you're telling me this thing traveled in the toilet right after crawling up my pants? Booker's.
It's not clear.
Out by that. Ew. Well, he goes back to the train car. Then sounds like he's gonna try to weasel his way into this conversation with the gang.
Bailey is probably also giving Halo a weird look as he watches him read the note. And then Bailey kind of speaks up. He's like, "Hey, statue, can you even read?"
Halo doesn't know what the word statue means, so he doesn't notice unless...
Bailey rolls his eyes, takes up a piece of paper, crumbles it, and throws it at your head. So it bounces off.
Bounces off harmlessly. Halo turns his head in the direction of Bailey. "Oh, hello. My name's Halo."
Now Bailey turns, he shifts over to Ledger and says, "Should he really be here?"
Ledger, I think, shrugs, and he's like, "What do you mean? It's a job's a job. What do you want from me?"
People are looking around. We're getting noticed.
Yeah, have you ever considered maybe it's your gigantic fucking hat?
Halo points at the paper, if Ledger's still holding it, and says, "What is that on that?"
I guess that answers your question, Bailey. These are words.
Interesting.
I think at this point, especially when Ledger sees Bailey coming up, he stuffs it. He stuffs the letter into one of the pockets of his coat.
I mean, Booker, right?
Yeah, sorry, Booker, not Bailey, because Bailey's already read it.
Names will take a bit.
Yeah, we got 2 B's.
For me, it's the 2 book names. It's fucking with me.
At least they're different sounding words. Look, I need to get some fresh air. I'm gonna go take a walk.
Whatever you need.
Ledger, mind if I join you?
If you must.
I think it makes sense.
All right. Let's, I was just gonna go out for a smoke, maybe still. I assume that there's like a place to stand in between the train cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Can be whatever you want here.
Cool. How close are we to the front of the train?
You're in first class, so pretty close.
Are we like adjacent to the locomotive or maybe like a car away?
Sure.
Cool, perfect. Yeah, Ledger's gonna go walk towards like the door that leads to the direction where the locomotive is and step out and take a deep breath of that sweet boreal. I imagine it's pretty cold outside, eh?
Yeah, it's frigid and moist.
Maybe it hurts.
Love it.
By the way, Bailey rushes out of his seat when he sees Booker show up. And he says, "I'm going to go too." And he joins with you guys.
No,
Halo follows.
we're just going for a smoke.
Right. And I could be there too.
You don't smoke.
I just want to hang out. We should all be together for this, shouldn't we? Why would we split up?
Jeez, I can tell it's going to be one of those jobs, ain't it?
It is. Now let's go.
Have we got a description for Bailey yet?
Big coat guy. Yeah.
Big coat,
He
big
went
cat.
first.
Okay, yeah, right.
He was sitting.
Do we have a description
He's
for
not
what
sitting.
Booker looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that too.
He
Oh
also
my
said
God.
We were also focused on our own description.
No, he has no buckles, that's right.
It's the classroom. It's like you're just focusing on the thing you have to read. You don't hear whatever else is saying.
All right, popcorn. Bailey Ghost.
Don't take
Got
me
it.
back there.
I feel like I can conceptualize these characters in my head best on what kind of coats they have and hats.
Big, stuffy,
And
annoying. Yeah,
Colin.
my coat is probably hitting chairs too as he's walking.
Just for my reference, the rat didn't tell me what we were doing, just that I'm partnering with Ledger, right?
Yeah, help Ledger on his goals because your
Okay, cool.
debt has been rented by the Institute.
But Ledger doesn't know that.
No, yeah. I'm just making sure Booker doesn't know though.
Booker does not know.
Okay. So I think Ledger's plan was that he was gonna try and like slip away and maybe like con Halo into helping him do this, but now he's got the whole gang with him.
All right.
So he's gonna step outside and in the interest of maintaining his cover, he's gonna roll another one of his nasty cigarettes and look around. I want to see what kind of security there is leading into the main car of the locomotive, if there's any soldiers or anything.
Yeah, there's the attendant, the nice lady who gave the letter to Bailey. She's kind of making her way around the cabin. In front of the engine car, as you kind of go out to the smoke, you see a bored-looking Cathari officer who is armed with a stout cudgel, which is kind of laid over his waist. And he's sat in a uncomfortable-looking chair, kind of exposed to the cold elements, with that engine room door shut behind him.
How you doing, man? You smoke?
Do I smoke? Yeah, I smoke.
Ledger offers him the cigarette he just rolled.
He takes it and he lights it up. And he looks you over and says, "Now, I couldn't help but notice your accent.
Oh yeah? What does that mean to you?
You sound like a Cathari."
I am. And he puts his arms out to the side. A citizen of the world. I've been everywhere.
What's your name?
Name's Ledger Gray, and he offers him one hand clad in a very frayed black fingerless glove.
He shakes your hand, and he says, "My name's Doorman Vicious."
I can guess how they gave you that one.
He nods.
You ever go inside the locomotive?
We try not to do that, but sometimes it is necessary. The conductor tends to have things in hand, though.
You know, I've always wanted to see inside one of those things. It really is a miracle of modern Cathari engineering.
You want to see what's inside?
Yeah. You got me. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing.
If you had seen what's inside there, buddy, you wouldn't feel that way. Sorry, I'm not supposed to let anyone in.
What do you mean I wouldn't feel that way? I assume you've seen it.
He looks you over and he says, "Yeah, I've seen him."
Well, what is it? Okay, you gotta tell me now.
I can't be talking about this to a non-enlisted officer. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. I just want to know what's inside. I'm not asking you to give me the damn blueprints. Just what's it like?
Well, it sounds like it's a roll. I think we have arrived at our first roll.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good news.
Music.
No matter what skills or domains are involved, I can almost guarantee that I have zero aptitude.
Yes. So, in the heart, the city beneath, the game we're playing, most roles are comprised of two factors, which is the skill, which, like most RPGs, is things like, persuading people, killing people. And then more uniquely is the domain, which is usually the thing you are dealing with or the place you are. In this case, the role that you seem to be angling for is a compel, which is convincing people, and then technology, which is what the train's domain is. And I don't believe you have either of those, but
No, I do not.
you can be aided.
Does anybody have compel, or does that even matter for getting aid?
Booker does.
Yes, the person aiding needs to have it.
Okay, perfect. I think that Ledger would be like, "Come on, man, my pal Booker here," and he puts one long, slender arm around him and kind of slaps him on the back of the shoulder. He's just crazy about this stuff too. Maybe crazier than I am. Ain't ya? Ledger turns and looks at him.
Always wanted to see one. We're not always in first class. Come on.
Okay, so are you going to take an aid from Booker in this case?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to, I think there's a macro on your sheet for rolling. You're going to roll a compel technology with +1 die because of the aid.
Yes. Is this standard?
This is standard.
Okay.
Which determines how many die you get taken away, which is 0 in this case.
That's good. Let's see. Here we go.
Wow.
Critical success.
That is a critical
Excuse me?
success.
Puppy eyes work.
A 5 and a 10.
Wow.
And we take the highest. The guy kind of, he smiles and he says, there's almost a, I don't want to say sadistic. It's like when you see someone who's like really enthusiastic about a bad experience, and you're like, okay, go ahead, jump into that cold pond. And he looks around to make sure no one's watching him. He unlocks the door to the engine room, and he kind of leads you inside. I guess Booker. I guess anyone really can come with him. You did critically succeed.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this right now because I feel like, well, I don't know, maybe would it be reasonable to assume that Ledger knows anything about the aptitude of his comrades?
Yeah, you've been traveling together. We can handwave that stuff.
Okay, does anybody have sneak?
Not me.
Probably, I'm gonna assume probably not based on people's classes, but I thought I'd check.
I don't
No
think
sneak
so.
here, sir.
No
I have
sneaky.
a Colton technology mended.
Oh, you do have
turn.
technology though.
I do.
I have kill. We could kill this guy.
No, throw him over.
I also have kill.
Blow his head off.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm trying to think because I feel like Ledger might. This is hard. I'm trying to think if Ledger would ask Bailey to steal the control rod for him while he distracts the guy, or if he would not do that. I don't know if they know each other well enough for him to make that kind of ask. And Bailey seems quite suspicious of everybody else.
Are you asking me, or are you just trying to figure this out?
I'm thinking aloud. I think.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Let's just see what's inside the train car. What do we see when we walk in there? Into the locomotive.
Yeah, this could be fucked up. What if it's a person?
Inside the engine room, it is hot, and it smells of acrid metal. It is dimly lit by the glowing fire of the engine, and in this dim light you make out the shape of a man who is hanging upside down from the ceiling with his back contorted unnaturally. As you draw closer, he comes into full view. A tangle of machinery at the top of the engine room connects to the man's body, crawling up him as if subsuming him into the train. His body, from the waist down, has been completely integrated into the machine. The rest of his body, which is hanging down, is plugged into all sorts of wires and tubes which string around the room like a web. His arms are limp and bony, but occasionally twitch with activity and run gently along one of the wires sprouting from his body. The largest of these thick, bony conduits rises from the back of his skull and occasionally pulses with a thick, watery swish. From his mouth and from each of his eyes jut 3 sharp metal rods, terminating in a crowned spike, which occasionally recedes into his skull with a wet shlick, and then emerges later, wet and glistening.
That's fucked up.
And those are the control rods?
It's not clear.
Hold on,
Thanks,
find out.
The Institute. Oh, man.
And this is nasty. This is a
This
nasty
is kind of
thing.
gross.
Disgusting.
That I'm actually, as a player, I'm curious if Bailey thinks it's disgusting, because this seems like he's like our magic and technology guy. But I feel like Ledger's just like, he kind of wrinkles his nose a little bit, and he'll be like, I'll be a son of a bitch, baby. You ever seen anything like this?
I think he definitely thinks it's disgusting.
How normal is this, Colin?
This is absolutely abnormal. The door guard was like, I told you.
You did. It's fascinating, though, ain't it? What are those things popping out of his mouth and eyes?
I'm not an engineer.
Real wet.
Does
Guess
he
I didn't-
talk?
How the hell
Does
you
he
expect him to talk? You ain't got no mouth without a odd in it.
I mean,
Hey, buddy, can you hear us?
Hey, keep it down, buddy.
Sorry.
Don't yell at the conductor. He's busy.
Suppose the man
Yeah.
got to focus.
Now you've seen it. Now, what, can I get you out of here? I don't want to get in trouble.
I think at this point, Ledger is going to turn around abruptly and quickly, and he's going to bump into Bailey, who's behind him, and he's going to whisper softly in his ear, "I need you to steal one of those rods." And then he steps back. He stumbles back, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." These confined spaces make me a little panicky. Tell me, man, what do you think of my cigarettes? It's a personal blend I made it myself, imported from, far and away down south.
Well, it stinks like shit, but it gives me the tingles.
Yeah, don't adjust. So they really make you sit out in this little... Ledger's just trying to talk to him. He's trying to see if...
Sure.
I mean, it's up to Bailey if he actually does this errand that he was
Are the
tasked with.
gears turning?
I think Bailey figures out what's going on. He throws his arm around Halo and he brings him close and he says, "Look, Ledger wants you to steal the rods. All right, I can walk you through it, but we gotta do this together. We gotta be quick. He's distracting. Okay?
Halo was in the corner touching stuff. He's like,
Stop touching this. Okay, we gotta touch this." He points to the thing. This is what we need to get.
Ledger's plan is so he's gonna kind of try and get close to this guy, throw an arm around him, and start talking his ear off about how these part of the different things that are in his cigarettes, and it's all bullshit. None of it's true. But he's talking about how it's spices made from ground up plants extruded from the dead tree, and how they use them in funeral rites to bury their greatest ancestors. He's basically just using a subject that he knows about and just kind of spinning a bullshit yarn off of that, just to kind of just to keep the guy talking and try and keep his attention.
Okay, who's making the roll for stealing the thing? I'm gonna let your critical just keep this distraction rolling.
Sure.
well, Halo's got it. Halo,
Okay.
being the innocent little boy that he is, says, "Oh, okay." And then he reaches out to grab the rod, but I want, as he does this, to roll a compel to connect with the conductor and see how the conductor feels about being
Oh
grabbed.
no!
Ooh.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn, history really do be repeating itself.
I have a type I'm finding in my characters. Okay, so how do I roll compel?
We all do.
Do you have compel? I guess is the first
I do.
question. Do you have technology?
No, I have a cult.
Okay. How are you trying to connect with him? Let me hear that first.
Just through touch. Just through touch and my...
So you're trying to pet him like a
little
horse.
abilities. Yeah, basically.
Like, there, girl. That's all right.
And then you understand.
Okay. Yeah. Is anyone helping you, or are you just raw dogging it?
I don't know how I would help. I have my hands on his back, I think, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So in your case, how you can help is you can lend the technology domain, which would look like you actually having to get in there and be like, "Hey, here's how you should try to disconnect this."
Yeah, I think Bailey should be pointing at what Halo should be grabbing.
I think that's what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how aid works is that you are opened up to any consequences, basically. If something breaks bad, you will both be affected. Okay, so Halo, you're going to roll Compel Technology, and you're going to get 1 extra dice.
Okay. +1, standard.
You got this.
I'm going to call this risky because of the circumstances of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's a 3.
I mean, why do you only have...
Reroll?
You only have 2 dice. Did you add the +1 die?
I did.
You should have...
Do you have Compel?
I do. I did have the box checked. I don't know.
Roll
funny.
1d10 for me, because Roll20 did not roll the correct amount.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
that's a
not
2.
better.
So you did fail. So what happens, unfortunately, is that the conductor, as you try to kind of soothe him and reach for one of his rods, suddenly whips around and grabs you by the arm. His hands are oddly strong. His little the control rods from his eyes and mouth are flickering in and out rapidly in a very disconcerting way. And I think he says, "What's really bad to hear? What don't you and Bailey want to hear right now?"
I don't want to hear something scary about not going into the city. I don't want to hear advice telling me to stay away. And I don't want to hear why.
Okay. Bailey, does that also sound reasonably disconcerting to you?
Yeah, any interruption does not sound good.
I think the conductor, grabbing your arm but looking at Bailey, says, "You pause at the doorway and do not realize you have already passed through and are merely looking back. It is too late for you. The lock falls into place." And then the creature kind of shoves you back and kind of makes a little bit of a disturbance, which causes the guard to look back. But first, since you failed the roll, you have to take some stress. You are both, Halo and Bailey, are going to take. So you're going to share this result. You're going to take 1 mind stress.
Oh,
Easy.
my mind.
Which is 1 of 6 of your health bars.
Okay.
So if you have any mind protection, it would block this, but I don't know that either of you do.
Nope.
I don't think so.
And now you each have to click that Fallout test button, which will determine if something worse happens.
Oh,
Holy shit!
Halo got Fallout. So
1 versus 1.
So in
that right,
Halo's, so how Fallout works is that you have to roll above how much stress you have. So the more stress you get, the harder it is. But Halo somehow managed to roll a 1 versus 1. Very statistically unlikely. So Halo, first you're going to clear your mind stress because you got this Fallout. Okay. It clears the appropriate thing. And now I'm going to give you one of these Fallouts.
Oh my god.
Why is it always you? And why is it always you?
I'm susceptible.
I think this is a good one. It's an immediate mind Fallout, and it is creepy. You react in a strange way that weirds out your friends. Tell us how.
Ooh. Okay. Halo gets shoved back, and probably in the process of getting ushered out of this train car by the guard, whispers to Bailey, "Oh, I'm sorry, he doesn't want his rod taken, and he knows about it. You shouldn't tell anyone."
It's okay. It's a good work.
Okay.
He knows. He knows.
I know. Let's go.
Okay.
So the guy turns around to look, I assume.
I'm going to say that all of you hear this. I think Halo's speaking a little too loudly. More loudly than he probably thinks he is in this circumstance.
I'm probably patting you on the back. Like, okay, buddy, it's okay.
So the good thing about you all being here is that you all suffer this. You all take 1d4 mind stress. Let's see if we can get a fucking waterfall here.
3.
Don't worry, Jack. I rolled it.
Oh, fuck.
Can we take Zach's?
No, you take mine. You all take 4 mind stress.
Woohoo, and then we all roll Fallout?
Yeah, so all of you take mind stress, increase your mind stress by 4, and then all of you have to roll another Fallout test.
This is gonna be... Okay, I passed.
No Fallout, easy.
Except for Halo. Halo doesn't
says
have to.
He knows about us instead of he knows about it.
Wait.
You definitely take... No, you forgot to increase your mind first.
It's at 5 right now.
I think...
Maybe the macro's broken.
I was listening to another podcast. I think they were using the same character sheet. After you increase something, try clicking off of it after you increase it.
Okay, let me try. I'll roll it again.
Yeah, we're going to keep your last result, but just roll it again to see. Okay, you get a minor anyways. There you go.
Exact same roll.
Okay, Bailey, you're going to get a Fallout now too. Isn't that exciting?
When you take Fallout, don't you clear stress?
Yes, you're going to all clear your... If you got a Fallout, you clear all the stress in the appropriate column. So you're at 0 mind stress now, Bailey.
Yay.
Where's your head at right now, Bailey?
I'm nervous, one, because the guy fucked up, but I'm almost nervous that Ledger's gonna know that I forced the little baby boy to do the thing that he asked me to do. And I'm worried he's going to freak out about that.
You become, as you kind of step back, Bailey, you get this feeling that you get a sudden intuition that this thing broke something of yours. And going forward, you're going to have the minor fortune Fallout, and you do have to add this. Broken, which is that your shotgun, your blunderbuss, has been broken somehow. Something about your interaction with this thing has caused your blunderbuss to break. You're not sure what, but you're convinced of it.
So where do I add this?
Under Fallout, on the below your skills.
Just write broken gun.
Broken gun, ongoing, and then put 2 question marks next to it for me.
It says blood and minor next to it.
This is blood miner.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be a fortune miner?
Oh, sorry. Right, fortune miner is this.
Yeah, I think you just got to change the name.
The gun organ. Vital.
you.
The gun organ.
Age.
My gun is leaking.
Okay, this has gone about as bad as it could. The guard, seeing all this shit happening, and he also took mind fallout. I mean, mind stress. He's very unsettled. He's like, what the hell was I thinking? Letting a fucking demon in here? Get out, all you're messing it up.
As soon as this happens and he turns around and starts talking, Ledger is going to walk over to Halo and be like, I told you not to touch nothing, and he's going to basically try and start like a fake slap fight with him. And basically the idea is to have the guard contend with Ledger and Halo fighting here, and he's going to maybe shoot a pointed look at Bailey before he does this, but it's just like this is his last possible distraction. And Ledger's going to start basically wrestling with Halo and like kind of making a show of like trying to wrestle him out the door back into the first class cabin. Basically like, what I tell you about saying such weird shit? Don't you ever do this, ruin everything, get us kicked out of first class.
Sorry.
This is your last shot, Bailey. We're gonna have to fucking kill this guy and dump him out the side of the train.
Really wants that rod.
Is Booker still there?
Yeah, Booker is observing.
Are they watching all this?
He's kind of reaching to his side now that it's getting a little hot.
Okay, Bailey's going to fall on the ground and pretend to trip, and he like drops open his coat and drops papers. And he's like, oh God, Booker, I need help. Help me pick all this up.
Over here.
And he asks him to pick it up. I'm sorry, we won't leave this stuff in here. And he's like ushering you to come inside and help him.
Booker does that. Booker goes inside.
And when he gets close, he's like, Ledger wants the control rods. He wants the control rods now.
Booker immediately understands what to do. So is it obvious, like, what on the body to rip off for the control rods?
It's not obvious, but it's the most rod-like thing on the body you can see is what's coming out of its eyes and mouth.
Are you sure?
Really noticeable.
Like he only asked for one. Also,
do you know what the rod is?
Me?
Yes.
Oh. Listen, he just wants the rod. I'm pretty sure it's a thing going in and out, right?
I get.
This is so like Three Stooges.
Maybe put on a glove. You probably should have a glove. He pulls out a glove and hands it to you from his coat.
He puts it on and he's gonna try. He's gonna try pulling it.
Just be careful. Be careful.
Okay. What do we want to call this?
I don't know. He's pulling it out. Right? It should be removable.
He's rip starting a lawnmower.
Is it? Yeah.
This is kill.
Is this kill, Colin?
I think
Kill
this is.
I fucking hope not.
This is most likely mend, if I had to guess.
Hey, that's my skill.
You have both mend and technology, Bailey.
I
Yeah,
do.
Maybe we should convince Bailey to do something.
Right?
He's such a scared boy. It's not his fault.
Can I use men in technology for this?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yeah, that's the role. That is the role.
Oh.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Bailey? I think you can do this.
I
don't
shove you
know
to the
what
side. Okay, just watch my back. And then I go and I'm going to do this.
I just imagine
Right.
like behind you, like the guards coming to try and like intercede in this conflict, and then like Ledger like accidentally like elbows him in the eye and turns around. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." And let's just make like this really insane tangle in this confined space.
Just look big, Booker. Look big, okay? I got to do this.
All right, Booker's watching your back.
All right. Roll it.
Which one? Mend or technology?
It's both. You mend technology.
Yeah. Every roll you make uses a skill and a domain. You always have to pair two.
Oh, there's 2 columns. I see.
Yeah. So you having both the skill and the domain is like the best case scenario for this role.
Okay. I thought this was like a strength thing. Let's do this. Men, technology, just standard, right?
Mm-hmm. 8. Success. Take no stress. Okay. You pull the control rod out. Where are you taking it out of? The eyes or the mouth?
I'm taking it out of the mouth, and as I do, I say, "Why don't you just shut your fucking mouth? Never say this to me again." And he rips it. You don't know shit about me.
You pull the control rod out. It comes out with a sickening crunch, and out from the hole where it once was pours a thick, clear liquid which spatters on the ground, and the cabin fills with a very strong, rusty metal smell. The conductor spasms, lets out a deep guttural moan like a dying animal, and then he is still, and the train's engines begin to falter and slow.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
After a few seconds, with the guard kind of shoving Bailey and Halo apart and looking over to you as he feels the train stop moving, the conductor twitches back to life and the engines resume. And the guard puts on a very stern scowl and says, "I said, get out. Don't make me get the guards."
Okay. I'm
Put
sorry.
it underneath my coat, the control rod.
I'm sorry. I can't take this one anywhere. I should have known better. And you're right. No demons in the locomotive was a bad idea, fellas. Pick up your damn papers. Clown show. Let's get out of here. I'm so sorry, sir. We have imposed on your hospitality for far too long.
You're lucky you're in first class. Otherwise, I'd be throwing you off the train.
And you would be, of course, justified to do so, sir. Please, let's get the hell.
Throw me off the train. What the hell are you? You probably shove him away.
Ledger grabs the back of his long coat and just kind of starts to pull him out the door.
Why I oughta.
You have gained the control rod.
All right, I'm gonna kind of unzip my coat a little bit and then kind of like dangle it and shove it into Ledger's torso. I'm like, "Oh, you owe me. You owe me for this."
Of course, we always pay our debts, don't we, baby? Now,
Yeah.
Let's go. Sit down. Enjoy the ride. Ledger grins. He gives off this like unflappable air of confidence, like this was his plan the whole time.
I think Bailey can't help but grin back. He's a little charmed by that. Shakes his head and goes to his seat.
That damn smile.
As we walk back, I feel like Ledger, he puts an arm around Halo's shoulder and he's like, "Look, I know you don't understand a lot of things about a lot of things, so I need you to know that was just, it was an act. We were just it's just a little trick, and I appreciate you helping me out, but you cannot go around saying shit like that all the time. Freak people out."
Okay. Halo looks back at the engine. We didn't hurt him, did we?
What that
Is
thing?
he okay?
I don't know if he's okay, but I suspect that you don't get to become a man plugged into a train unless you have made some particular choices in your life.
Oh, don't worry. That's not a man anymore.
Hey, train's still moving. And then I pat Halo on the back as I walk past him.
Okay, we all go
Can't
sit
help
down
it.
now.
Booker laughs at that one.
I will, now that we've gotten past this little section, I will remind you all, and the viewers, that Heart has a thing called beats. Beats are little experience triggers that you choose at the beginning of a session, or as we chose during our character creation. And as soon as you accomplish what that beat says, you get to check it off. And when we are done with the episode or the mission, you'll get new moves based off of them. And I think a few of your beats have been triggered.
I think mine just did, right?
Yes.
I was thinking of yours, Adam. Do you want to read it out?
I think my plan worked. I succeeded at a task that someone else has recently failed to achieve. So I got Halo to fail his task, and then I completed it.
That was smart. Was that your plan the whole time?
Halfway through.
You sly dog.
Ingenious.
Task failed successfully.
Brilliant.
Holy shit.
And then you both received, Booker, you received orders from your master, and you put yourself in danger to follow those orders, Ledger. So you get that. You are left with an amount of time. a good amount of time, free to yourselves as the train moves forward. No one comes to arrest you, thank God. What do you do?
Imagining that the conductor like grew a new rod out of his mouth after like 30 minutes. Anyways, what do we do?
That's gross.
Halo takes out his sketchbook and he starts drawing the conductor.
I think Bailey's just poring over all his notes that he has splayed out on the table. He also checks to see if anyone did the notes look disturbed when he came back. He left them out on the table.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone messed with your notes.
You might want to look at your shotgun. Because it's broken, or you believe it's broken. I don't know if it's really broken because it came from mine fallout. But
yeah. Then Bailey probably puts away his decoy notes he left on the table and then starts inspecting his shotgun and wonders what the hell happened.
It's absolutely broken. It's fucked. You can just tell by the way it feels in your hands. It's all wrong.
Okay. He wants to go complain to Halo, but he'll do that later.
Booker's just looking at the shotgun. It looks fine to him.
Something's clearly broken. It's not working. Look, you're probably shoving it in your face.
Oh God! See? Booker like guides the barrel away from. It looks fine.
No, I'm not gonna look. See, you can see all the mechanism. He's probably pointing everything out.
What's going on over there?
I think an attendant comes over and says, "Sir, you can't do that."
Don't worry, we're almost done. He waves her away.
We are done.
Fine. He puts it away.
Ledger's just sitting. Oh yeah, he's sitting with his like feet up on the chair in front of him. He's like a very annoying and not very considerate passenger, but he's kind of just like humming to himself, and sometimes he like kind of looks over his left shoulder and like says, like mutters something quietly, and then like maybe sometimes he like laughs afterwards or shakes his head. You guys have probably spent some time around him. You know that he does this regularly.
Maybe I kind of get closer to Booker and I point at him and it's like, what's up with the tour guide? Why does he always talk to no one?
I think we all have a few screws loose.
You notice that though, right? He's just been muttering to himself all the time.
And we're traveling with a walk-in oil slick. I didn't pay much mind.
All right, just remember, me and you gotta stick together, okay?
Sure thing. He gives him a little thumbs up.
After, do you give the control rod to?
I did.
Oh yeah, he did right when we got out. Yeah,
okay,
I got out.
After a few hours of relative calm, the train very suddenly strains as the brakes engage without warning. A few people standing in the aisle topple over as you come to a very unexpected stop. One of the attendants stands up, smooths down her uniform before saying, just a quick stop, folks. Please stay in your seats while we handle this." And as she speaks, a squad of Cathari soldiers, armed with sabers and a couple stout pistols, push past her and exit the train out of the front side door.
I think Ledger immediately stands up, despite what she said, and he's kind of trying to peer out the window to see if he can see what's going on.
You can't see much. It's still very foggy out. You see some of these soldiers kind of pointing forward, like towards the front of the train, farther down the track, into the fog, and kind of like talking amongst themselves.
I think, is Halo seated near Ledger?
Yeah.
I think he kind of leans over and he's like, "What do you think all that's about?"
Halo kind of blearily, sleepily looks out the window, which is just like, he does it slowly. You couldn't tell he was asleep because he doesn't have eyes. Halo says, "What? I don't know. Why are we stopped?"
I think Bailey rushes over to your guys' chair and sits next to you guys. What's going on?
Booker reluctantly follows.
I don't know. Train stop, bunch of soldiers running out.
You don't think you think someone, he points back kind of to the conductor area. Someone else is getting one?
Ledger thinks about it and he's like, I don't think so. Before, she didn't stop, just slowed down a touch.
How far are we from Calamity?
I think maybe Ledger's like, excuse me, ma'am, how far are we from Calamity now?
She kind of like looks a little. She's kind of looking out the window, also kind of looking nervous. She says, "Well, it shouldn't be very long. Just a few hours from here."
Bailey kind of like gets close. She's like, she's nervous. Something's up.
I'm inclined to agree.
After a brief break, one of the officers kind of comes back into the train and whispers something to the attendant. There's like a little back and forth, and then the soldier shrugs and then goes back out into the mist. The attendant, grimaces and then kind of addresses the first class captain and says, "Okay, y'all, there's an unexpected ocean in the way of the train right now. It's
An unexpected ocean.
It's not supposed to be here right now, but the good news is that it's moving, so it should eventually be out of the way, and we'll probably, hopefully, get the tracks back when it does. So if not, we'll just turn the train around and head back to Clover and get you pulled into a caravan, free of charge, of course. So in the meantime, just hold tight. We'll be starting our meal service soon for those in first class here with me."
Is this weird, by the way?
Ocean?
An ocean appearing? Like,
This is extremely weird.
I mean, would we have ever heard about this before?
Like, is this a phenomenon?
Yeah.
Ledger might have. Ledger, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this much, Ledger. There's a thing called the Wandering Sea in the City of Glass. I don't know that you've ever seen it, but you've heard of it. It's like a common anomaly, if you would want to call it that. The issue is that you are not in the City of Glass.
Yeah. It's kind of strange that it would be this far out.
Halo says, "Ledger, what is an ocean?"
Oh, well, it's a whole bunch of water in one place.
Yeah, and they're normally not here. What's going on?
Yeah, normally, well, now, I have heard of something similar to this, but in the city, it's abnormal for it to be this far away, possibly troubling. Is it known that this is there's some idea that the city is expanding, or that its influence is getting bigger? Is that something that's in the public consciousness or that people are aware of?
For you and perhaps Bailey, yes, that is something you'd be aware of, that you've heard tell of.
Yeah.
But 3 hours by train from Calamity, which is supposed to be at the very edge, that'd be a very big jump. That'd be a huge jump.
How far would that be on foot?
Oh man, do I have to look up how fast does a train go? Steam
You
train.
can just bullshit it and I will totally believe you.
Just edit this in later.
Is it days or weeks or hours?
Let's call it 150 miles.
I'm Canadian, sir. That means nothing to me.
Let's call it 300 kilometers.
Yeah, so that's probably a couple days. And how long have away from where we departed from are we? By train. It's been a bit, right?
Yeah, you got on a little over a day ago. So you've had an overnight here.
Okay. I'm trying to wonder if it would be worth trying to walk rather than go back.
It would be an extremely long walk.
Okay. Well, I say meal service is about to start. Let's all grab a bite, both paid for by our generous benefactor, and reassess. Maybe it'll have moved on by then and the tracks will be back.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, the meal service starts. It's pretty good. It's Cathari food.
It's spicy.
Now we're gonna have to get into it. We're gonna have to get into the
the cuisine. It's important.
Yeah, because you're supposed to make these in real life.
It's kind of they're very big on fruity, savory combinations.
Yummy.
It's like pork chops and applesauce.
Yeah,
sounds
pork chops
good.
and applesauce. Maybe there's some pineapple in there. It's good. It's good, but it might take if you're a picky eater, it's weird.
Is it different? Is what we're seeing in first class different than what is a normal meal?
Oh, yeah, they're not getting any food in the other classes.
Oh, wow.
That you're supposed to bring your own food if you're getting a non first class ticket. Sorry, folks.
If you're
Should have had a
Has
benefactor.
pretzels?
No pretzels. Here. Sorry.
No peanuts though, because Bailey has an allergy.
Fuck. Sorry, guys.
As you kind of tuck into your meal, there's like a slam as the train doors kind of shut near the front of the train, and the train starts moving forward again.
Did the soldiers come back in?
No.
Huh.
The attendant kind of looks back towards the front of the train, then out the windows, and following her gaze, you see the faces of the soldiers, as well as some members of the train crew slip by as the train picks up speed.
I think Ledger says aloud, not necessarily to the attendant, but just saying, now I get the impression that we weren't supposed to leave all those folk behind.
There's a loud sloshing noise as the train makes contact with the sea in front of it. Pungent black water, as thick as cream, pours through the gaps in the train's frame. Within seconds, it's up to your knees, and then suddenly, you feel the train pitch downwards, and then you feel it leave the tracks entirely as it begins to enter a sickening freefall.
Oh, fuck.